Hey, it's Don Criquito here with my comprehensive guide to all things Hypermode. I figured now that all the content's dropped, it would be a good time to update my guides. So here's the first guide with all the basics: how to get there, how to use it, and why you might want to use it. But how do we get here? Red Tearstone and Morion Blade are mandatory. Also, you'll want the Blindfold Mask or Dust Crown if you're using a mage, and the Mage Boosting Rings. For melee, you'll primarily want Flynn's Ring and Leo's Ring, along with Dragon Roar to buff you. Also buffing it's Power Within, Dragon Roar, Karthik Beacon, and various other things that I'll touch on as we go into the individual classes. But what's the best way to get there? Well, one of the quickest routes is just to stab yourself twice with the Bloodlust. From 10 Vigor, that'll put you into critical HP. However, for clerics, since they need to buff up at the same time, they can flail themselves, roll out of it, and flail themselves twice again to get the same effect. Also, if you're a melee character that's turned dragon and you have over 200 bleed resist, the only way to get down there is to use the flail method. Whipping yourself works good, whether you're embered or unembered. Only difference is, instead of whipping yourself 3 times, you have to go ahead and whip yourself a 4th. That's literally it. You do wind up with a tiny sliver of HP, though. But, in this case, for example, what if you are downscaled and can't whip yourself 3 times, but aren't in critical after 2? Well, in that case, we can use the Symbol of Avarice. Take it off and put it back on a few times, and put yourself where you need to be. So how do we go from doing that to doing stuff like this? Or this? Or even taking out PvE like this. Here's a sample invasion to demonstrate. First I put on my Lloyd's Sword Ring, that way when I cast, I gain the full HP bonus. And now I put myself into Hyper Mode, now that that's over, making certain to swap the Sword Ring for the Tearstone Ring. Now as of this point, I'm basically prepared. But let's just buff ourselves up a little bit more with the sword, and then prep our Power Within. The other alternative you usually go for when you're opting for Hyper Mode is to use Tears of Denial. I find Tears to be more important for Hyper Clerics and melee characters, not so much for mages, pyros, or dark mages. Should also note that the weapon art on a chime now regens faster than Power Within drains your HP, thanks to the recent duration buff that raised it to 30 seconds. Let's wrap this up real quick with a demonstration that Great Soul Drakes comes out so slow, you can swap to a Morion before it lands for triple Hyper Mode. Hard counters include throwing knives, arbalest, particularly with splintering bolts, paired weapons with an L1, any attack that hits twice, and Kirk armor rolls. Especially with Quick Step. Thanks for watching, and up next will be my Dark Mage showcase.